So in this video we're in Ballinure, which is one of the next stops on the Derrynaflan Trail, and I'll talk you through the 3D tagging on OpenStreetMap, and then in the next video we can look at the results. So I'll show you the before first. The web address is demo.f4map.com. I'll put it in the description. And this is Ballinure. And I've only added the buildings about an hour ago. There was nothing there apart from the church ruin and the school. And I've just done that. And they're already showing. So when you zoom in with your mouse wheel, it'll change the perspective. And you'll see that they're 3D buildings now. And this is pretty impressive already, I think, at least. You can change the angle by holding your right mouse button pressed and then moving your mouse. Just try it out. It's not rocket science. But you probably need a computer and a mouse for it. You can't do it on your phone, I would think. Maybe you can. So it looks pretty dark because it has different light modes. And if you click on the 3 lines here, the menu, you can change the graphic options. And you can go for live, so it shows you the light, how it is at the moment. I mean, it's probably a bit darker than that. And you can change it to sun, rain, very fitting, and snow. Which at the moment, today, when I'm recording this, is not unlikely. Well, this is the weather option, sorry. And then you can also change the time. So you can change it to morning. So the shadows are going that way. Or night, which it is now. And there are no shadows. And then noon and evening. And it probably also goes by because it says current date, the shadows might be different during summertime. So that's pretty cool. And so if you're an architect and you're trying to build something and you want to know if it will be in the shade or if it'll throw shade onto something, this is a really neat tool to use. And then there are other things that you can add, like urban details. I have most of them checked apart from building names. So urban details, wall, chimney, power lines, street lamps. There should be power. Oh, there. Yeah, there's a power pole here. Can you see that? And the power line is connected to the next power pole and so on. And we'll go in and add a few more details. And then after a couple of days, because it takes a couple of days, I'll check in again and we'll see the results. And I will use mapillary imagery for this. And one reason why I've chosen Ballinure is it's because it's on the Derrynaflan Trail. And also it's a very small village, very few houses. And there is mapillary imagery of it, which is useful. So if you've never used mapillary, it's like Google Street View, but it's open source and open data. And you can contribute to it yourself, and please do. It's as easy as walking around with the phone taking pictures. And you go to mapillary.com and you click on Explore Map Data. And that will show you a map of the world. And if you wait a while, it'll show you the coverage of mapillary imagery. And as you can imagine, there are areas in Africa where there's none. And Europe is pretty well covered. And then parts of Russia and the Antarctic and stuff like that isn't covered. But I'll just zoom in. And you can zoom in to where you want to go, or you can use the search. Sometimes the search doesn't work, so I'm just going to zoom in. So the base map, you can choose OpenStreetMap, which of course I do, but you can also change it to mapillary streets, which is probably based on OpenStreetMap anyway, or Esri navigation, and other ones that you can try out. But since I'm very used to the OpenStreetMap view, I'll use that. And Ballinure is just west of Killinall, here. And if you zoom in and wait for a bit, you see there are 2 tracks, mapillary tracks. One is very densely mapped. That's one of the settings in your mapillary app on your phone, which is available for Android and iPhone. You can change the distance between the pictures. You can do it every by time, so every second, every third second, or every fifth second or something, or you can do it by distance. I prefer to set it to distance-based picture taking, because sometimes you end up at a traffic light and it'll take 20 pictures of the same traffic light, and that's not really that useful. So one of the tracks is by The Big C. Great shout out, well done, for taking all these pictures. And the other one, which I haven't checked out actually, is taken by, I have a suspicion that it's the same person who was taken. Oh, it's me. Who would have thunk it? I can't remember going through there. I swear I didn't know this. Anyway, I'm going to use the Big C's imagery because it's denser, and I'll start just before the cemetery and then go through the village. Just straight through, because that's where the track goes, and maybe, yeah, finish at these houses there. So, let's say I'll start here. Sometimes the way the camera angle isn't correct, and in the previous version of Mapillary you could rectify that. You can't anymore. I don't know why they got rid of that option. It's really a bit of a nuisance. So the Big C's imagery, the camera angle always points north. That's some setting in his camera or his app that he can't rectify now. So I'm just going to click on this here, and it'll show a preview in the corner here. Maybe I minimized it. And then you can pull this up to be full screen. But before I do that, I want to open OpenStreetMap.org to edit. So I'm just gonna start a new window and open OpenStreetMap in it. So that's a quarry I also added just recently there. And you can see that in Mapillary, in the OpenStreetMap layer, it isn't rendering any of the buildings yet. So I'm just gonna maximize that and minimize this one here because I think I won't get lost. But you can open that anytime you want by clicking on the map symbol there. And we're just outside the quarry there. On the right hand side there's the gate into the quarry, and also in the corner here you see who took the pictures, and it's the Big C, and it's 2018. Anyway, so here's the gate somewhere, and I'll open the editor. So the gate is here. I hope you can see that. There's a hedge starting after the gate, and I'll just start with the hedge and draw the hedge up to where the graveyard wall begins. And add a tag for the hedge. It's barrier hedge, or you can just type it in. If I knew the height, that'd be even better, because that would render it even more precisely. And then we have the car park here, so there's just off-the-road parking. And there is a row of, what you call those trees? Can't remember now. But it's a tree row after a power pole, so we can add that. So there's a power pole somewhere here, behind the fence. Sometimes you can see it in the shadow. I think it might be this one here. I'll add it there. And it's power equals pole, or again, you can just type that in. Or I could have copied one of the ones that are already here. And it looks a bit like the power line goes across the road and joins that power pole that is next to the quarry. So I could add that line from this power pole to this power pole, and its power equals line. But again, you could just type it in. And then there is another power pole here. And you can see that in the picture there in the distance. And one there, and I can't see if they're connected. They probably are, but I won't chance it. Oh, there's another one here actually. So I just copy and paste that here and connect these power poles with the power line. And oh yeah, the tree line here. You don't have to put in every single tree. You can just draw a line. You might not be able to make them out. I'll just delete that again. That these are trees, but you can clearly see the shadows here. And you can add that there. Tree row. And let's move on to the graveyard. So there's a tree here, which you can also see in the mapillary. Tree is natural equals tree. And then moving swiftly along, keeping an eye out for a stile in the wall of the graveyard. It looks, I don't know if you can see that, we can zoom in a bit. There is an information board, so I'll add that because it might have information about the Derrynaflan Trail, and it's just at the end of the tree row, so here roughly, and it's, I'll just type in information board, yeah. And I don't know what the content is, so we'll leave it at that. Still no, there's no stile. There's just a main gate and a smaller gate, and there seems to be a flagpole here. I'd say it's a flagpole. Looks like a, what do you call them? A pike? I'll leave it, I don't know, maybe it's a monument. Then we have a wall here, I'll leave that out. And then the first house here, so it's semi-detached with a gabled roof. And that's these two here. I'll just mark them both. And this one too has a gabled roof. I hope you can see that. And I'll add the roof shape first. And as I said, it's gabled. So roof : shape gabled. And it won't be rendered perfectly because you see there's an extension here and it can't really deal with that properly. It might do it kind of okay for this roof here, and I'll also add them for the two garages. So roof shape gabled. And then the house has 2 stories, 2 building levels. So I'll highlight that again, and you see here on the left hand side it asks for the levels, and that's only the building. If you use Street Complete, it'll ask you for the roof levels as well, but it doesn't have any. Okay, so I can't really see what the material is of the roof. We could add that as well, but it's a bit too far away. This actually doesn't look like a garage now, it looks more like a shed or something. Or maybe it's even lived in. It has it because of the windows. I might just change that to house. And I hope you already see how useful mapillary is. On the right hand side here we see a barn or something, which is this one here. Again, it has a gabled roof, and I'll just add farm auxiliary as building type. Roof shape gabled, and the one next to it is round, so roof shape round, and I'll also change that to farm auxiliary. You can kind of see the round one here, and just go along. There's another hedge here, but I won't add every hedge now because the video is going to get too long. There's a signpost here, which you could also add as a guidepost. Not quite sure about the complete tagging. Something guidepost. Fast forward to after the junction. I hope you can see that also it blurs the license plates on cars. Automatically when you upload pictures to mapillary, it'll do that. So we've kind of reached the village proper now. You could also look at mapillary for trees. So I could add this as a chestnut tree and stuff. I won't do that now. And here we are. It looks like there's a shop or a pub or something. And that would be this building here. Yep. And the roof shape is also gabled. And the roof material to me looks like slate. So I'm going to add that. Roof material slate. And then we have this little house here. It might have been a smithy or something at some point. And it's not mapped yet. Oops. Because it's so small I didn't see it. So, it has one building level. So we put that in here. And the roof, as you will agree, is gabled. And here we have 2 building levels on the other side where a wire is. 2. And I might just... No, I'm not doing that now. I'm only doing 3D mapping. The next building I can see here is this garage. And will be this one here. And this roof is called hipped. And it's only this part here, so it's 1 building level. I can add that it's a garage and roof shape is hipped. And the next building left to it has a gabled roof. Can't quite see what shapes these two have here. And then we have this corner building. Let's just go 2 steps ahead. It has a hipped roof as well. This is this one, and you can see that in the satellite view as well. So the roof shape is hipped, and the building levels are 2. If you have the possibility of adding the actual height of a building, that would be better because, of course, not in a village, but if you look at Kilkenny or some place, a Georgian 3-story building will be much higher than a late medieval 3-story building because they have the basement and you usually have to go up some steps to get to the ground floor and so on. So it does make a difference. But I can't do that now. I don't know. If you have LiDAR, I think in Northern Ireland they have LiDAR material, and I'll try to link to a video that explains how to do that on OpenStreetMap. I don't think we have that available here. The next building I can see, I'll take this white one here on the right hand side, would be this one here, and it has a gabled roof. And it also has this little porch, which I will add. I can't see it in the satellite view, I'll just have to. It's a 3-bay building, so I'll just take a third, roughly. So maybe like that. And I'll just add it as a building part and square them both off. It's easier in JOSM. And the roof shape is also gabled, isn't it? Yes. And the building level here is only 1. I'm not sure it will render properly in the F4 thingy. So this is this one building, and then on the other side of the road, there's another one that has a, oh, it's a post box. Another one here with a hipped roof and 2 building levels. Yes. Roof shape, no, hipped. Sorry, I'll just add this post box. I know it's not 3D mapping, but it's important to have the post box. And then there is also a bench. Sorry. And there are no buildings left and right that I can see, so we'll go, and you might already be able to spot that there's a thatched cottage. Very excited. Do I have this power pole? No, I'll add this power pole, so it's roughly where the corner of the building is. Power pole. And then there's another guidepost here. I'll just I'll add it just in case it's being rendered in 3D renderer. So it's here. Guidepost. And then there are also bollards here. I'll just add these 4. So one is outside, roughly here. Bollard. It's barrier bollard. Roughly where the corner is. Ooh. There's a bit more here. It's just outside the door. And another one roughly here. And then there's one here as well, roughly. So moving swiftly along. So let's go closer to the thatched cottage. So this part here is 2 stories high. The little annex is only 1 story high, but I'll just leave it at that now. And I'll add the roof material thatch, and it might render that in like a thatch color. I'm not sure. And I'll add the slates for this one here as well. Roof material slate. And then we have a shed here with a gabled roof and 1 level. Roof shape gabled. And then there's a house here. This one, which seems to be 2 stories high. House 2 and roof shape gabled. Oops. Next building is here. Next house. House is 2 stories high and has, you've guessed it, a gabled roof. And you can add all the walls and all the gates if you want to, but I won't now. And I don't think I'll go as far as the school or even further. So there's another gabled roof here. I don't know if there are sheds. Roof shape gabled. One here that I haven't mapped. Probably a shed. Roof shape round. And then the next house here is a house, and it has 2 levels and a gabled roof. This one, the bungalow, only has 1 level and a gabled roof. And I think that'll do. This building here has a flat roof, just to show you that that's an option as well. Roof shape flat. It'll be automatically rendered as flat, but just to be complete there. And there's another power pole opposite. It could be this dot here. Power pole, and then another one there, yeah, just before the tree. Just add that. And this roof shape hipped. And it's only one level. So that'll do for now. So we've had some examples. We have with no tree. I'll add this tree just so we have a tree. Or did we have one? Natural tree. So we have a tree row, we have walls, hedges, houses, other buildings. Yep. Bollards. So we'll see what it looks like when it's being rendered. See you then.